Colin Windecker here after the Western Michigan Broncos 75-67 victory over the Eastern Michigan Eagles. Joined here with Brandon Fitzsimons of HustleBelt.com. Brandon, first time that these two teams matched up, Eastern basically crushed Western. This time, roles were reversed a little bit. Western had a double-digit lead for the majority of the game. What is the biggest difference that you saw between the first matchup at Ypsilanti over a month ago and the matchup tonight between the Broncos and the Eagles?
Western didn't get off to a bad start. They were holding onto the ball a little bit better. David Brown was able to stay in production a little bit. And Western was able to get Deshaunte Riley in foul trouble. He was out of the game early on and often. Shane Whittington was able to take advantage and put work down low.
These two teams, they combined for 55 fouls. It was a chippy game, very physical. Brandon, what is it about these two teams, this rivalry, that you tend to see this physical play, the real chippiness, and you see a lot of guys fouling out too?
I think it's a combination of both the in-state rivalry between these two schools and their history in basketball. Just Eastern Michigan obviously had Earl Boykins. They've been there. And Western Michigan's just been the dominant program here in the West in the past few years under Steve Hawkins. So when you get that combined, just a lot of pride's on the line, a lot of egos, and you just see a hard-fought matchup every time.
Well, one of the big keys, or actually two of the big keys today for Western Michigan was their senior leadership. 22 points, 11 rebounds for Shane Whittington, another 20-point performance from David Brown. Brandon, every single game it just seems like either one or both of these guys are stepping up. Where would the Broncos be right now if they didn't have one or both of these guys?
Without one, I think they'd probably be middle of the pack in the MAC, because you can just key in on one guy. Without both of them, I think you're looking at Central Michigan or Ball State area. Having these two senior leaders is just huge. It's been able to help Tucker Heyman come into his own. Connor Tavey's been able to really grow as a solid low post threat. Even though he doesn't have the best size, AJ Avery's able to come in and play with Whittington or with Tavey. It's just a massive chain reaction because you have a nice senior guard and a nice senior big man. So without one or the other, you see a lot of holes in this Bronco team. But with their leadership, with their skill, just being able to sometimes put the team on their back or put their position on their back, that's what's been the key for the Broncos all season.
All right, Broncos now 11-3 in MAC play, 7 straight wins, still remaining in first place. Toledo plays later today. If they win, Broncos and Toledo will still be in first place in the MAC, but Western holds the tiebreaker. Next game for the Broncos will be Wednesday night at Ball State, a team that they played earlier this season at University Arena and beat them. So it should be another great game. Broncos again now 11-3 in MAC play, 16-1 now in games when they score over 69 points. So hopefully the Broncos can get over that magic number of 69 again on Wednesday night. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up with Brandon and myself. Stick around to check out the post-game press conference following the Western Michigan Broncos and Eastern Michigan Eagles. All right, thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Well, it was obviously hard fought. I mean, both teams really went at it, really went at each other, I thought. And physical, very physical game, got a little chippy out there. But that's okay. I mean, the Eastern and Western and familiar with each other. So, I was really proud of our guys' effort. The word that comes to mind is resilience. This group, I just got done on the radio show, and I was saying that I wish it was something that I could take credit for. It's not. These guys just have it. We've lost leads before in a variety of ways. Today had more to do with the foul trouble probably than anything else that we were facing. But the bench, I can't say enough about what the bench did today, coming in and playing great defense, and we got some timely baskets, and just a resilient effort. Out of everybody, and then goes without saying, Shane was massive, and there we were able to take the ball into the paint and get to the free throw line, which is a huge part of the game plan.
Coach Murphy said you guys played a smart game offensively. What were your thoughts on the way that you executed and played offensively?
We had you know, there's a bad thing about a 6.5-hour ride back from Athens, Ohio, and there's a good thing about it, and that is there's 6.5 hours, you know, so that you can think about things. And so after you get over the fun of winning down there, attention turned to this. And so put together immediately, we wanted to watch Syracuse film. You know, this is the exact same zone, and Murph, you know, came from Syracuse, so got 2 films from Pitt, how they attacked it, got a film from North Carolina State, how they attacked it, got a film from Boston College, we just beat them, how they attacked it, and then watched the game against Duke yesterday and how they attacked it. And then we, you know, then I watched about 2 or 3 more games that Eastern had played, and came to the grand conclusion we can't score against it. We'll never get a basket against this. And really, I felt like we had to turn it into a free throw contest. It's not great for the fans, but I felt like the only way we could, if you just pass the ball around the zone, they're too long, they're too athletic. You have to hit the paint with the zone, and that's easier said than done. Especially, you know, I told the guys ahead of time, I said, you know, it's one thing to say we gotta drive it, and we also have to keep our turnovers down. You know, we had 26 turnovers. They had 27 points off our 26 turnovers last time we played them. So we got to drive it. Oh, but by the way, don't turn it over while you drive it. Not an easy thing to do, and I thought that the guys did a pretty nice job of that. And we were able to hit the high post and the low post tonight. Our post players did a much better job of getting position, and at their place, I can remember talking a ton about just passing and catching the ball. We were the bad news bears over there the last time we played them, and we just caught the ball a lot better tonight. We're more sure-handed about it.
You had AJ come off the bench, scored 8 points, but one play that stands out to me is he's on the baseline, catches the ball, goes up strong, like he's going to either dunk it or get fouled. Just that confidence that comes off your bench. They don't always score, but do you like that confidence they play with out there?
Yeah, you know, and I mean, even something like Kellen's 3, you know, that we set up right before halftime. You know, those guys have been with every game and with every minute, even though they're not getting huge minutes. They're more and more comfortable on the floor, and you know, I thought that one play might have epitomized, you know, part of what AJ is doing in terms of listening to scouting report. We knew we wanted to go to the free throw line, and said, you know, just attack the rim. And we felt like if we attacked the rim, there was a good chance there could be a foul. You know, and you know, we ended up outscoring them from the free throw line 34-8. You know, and then we talked ahead of time. You know, we wanted to go to the free throw line at least 35 times. That's what Northern had done in the last game. We wanted to keep our turnovers 15 or below. We ended up with 16, and we wanted to out-rebound them, and we out-rebounded them by 7.
Was it a specific effort to try to get Riley into foul trouble, or was it just a general, we want to just create, you know, fouls as we take it to the basket?
Well, it makes it a little different if Riley's not in there because of how long he is, but it's not exactly like they're giving up. You know, the other, I mean, Hugo comes in, those guys come in, and they're not marching a lot of small guys out onto the floor. I mean, they've got some beef up there. And you're just going to have to keep working no matter who it is that's back there. That's the way it should be. You know, if you're going to be a good basketball team, you're going to have to play against more than just 1 or 2 good players. So it wasn't necessarily just Riley we wanted to take the ball in on. We just knew the ball had to hit the paint in order for us to do well. We had to play well in the middle third of the floor. You know, and I thought that we played a lot better in the middle third of the floor in this game than we did in the previous game. In the previous game, trying to hit the high post and the low post in the middle third of the floor, we were just a disaster. And tonight, when we got the ball to the middle of the floor, it just gives you more options. And I thought we did that a lot better.
Tavy had one of his poorer games this season. I know he got into foul trouble early, so it limited his minutes. But even when he was on the court, he didn't really seem like himself. Was there anything that you noticed from?
No, I thought he was actually very good. You know, he caught the ball in the high post. He created. He was very aggressive early. The foul trouble just, I thought he was too much, you know, and very difficult. You know, you can look at the total minutes where he got 15 minutes, but I mean, they were sporadic in nature, and there wasn't like he could be out there other than the beginning of the game. It wasn't like he could be out there, but we were hitting the high post, and I thought early on he was able to get to the rim and feed Shane, and I thought he was pretty aggressive. The foul trouble, I think, is what really slowed him. And then you check back in, and it's almost as soon as you check back in, there's another foul. So about the time you get into rhythm again, and you get a sweat going, there you go, come on over and sit next to me. And then his fourth foul was, I mean, he was out there for, I don't know, 20 seconds, whatever it was. He goes up for a rebound and he knocks over a kid, you know, and just a basketball play, it just happened. But no, there wasn't much. I mean, you'd have to really be looking for something negative to get to anything that Connor did wrong today. He was just a big, tough, physical kid that ran over some people.
Coach, you talked about this team being really resilient. Where do you think that this team gets that from? Is that kind of carried over from last season, you think, or something earlier in the season that has been built? Or?
No, you know, it is, well, there's probably a couple of things that come into play. You know, last season, you know, we did very well last season, and I thought that a lot of that had to do with, obviously, talent. You know, and you just, you know, to quote Adolph Rupp years and years ago, you can't win the Kentucky Derby with a donkey. I cleaned that up, you know. But it is a you have to have players, you know, and those are got some pretty good players out there. So talent is a big part of it. Last year, I thought that we had a lot of youthful enthusiasm. You know, they just didn't know any better. And so they ran around out there, had fun, played basketball. As part of doing that, they gained experience. You know, and you hear coaches talk a lot about experience. And there's a reason why, because we know how valuable it is in games like this. By the time you get to now, you know, Tucker, I thought, was outstanding today. You know, and there's a kid that just with every game seems to get a little better, still does some crazy things, but he gets a little better. You know, and so I think experience, maturity, talent, you know, it all comes in, and then confidence. You know, they're winning. You know, and so there's a calm to them when they do get behind, and we've lost leads, we've come back, we've done it all. You know, and so there's a calm to them that no matter what happens in a game, I think they think that they can withstand it and get themselves into the last 4 minutes and see what happens.
Shane, it's once again a second half performance for you tonight. No fouls in a game when it seemed like everyone had 2 to 3 to 4 in this one. Can you just talk about your aggressive approach in the second half?
I saw David and Austin go out, and everyone basically told me, "No weed, man. I gotta have you scoring." So they started throwing the ball in the post, and that was their emphasis at the beginning of the game too. But in the second half, I started making shots.
You missed Friday's practice. Before today's game, what would you say you were at, just percentage-wise, health-wise?
Today?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like crap right now. But I missed Saturday's practice as well.
A game like this, when it's physical, chippy, can you just talk about, you know, playing in a game like that when it's close throughout most of it?
It's MAC basketball. That's exactly how every game should be played tonight. We knew they were going to come in, throw punches. It's Eastern, Western Michigan Eastern. It's a big rivalry. So we knew they were going to come in throwing punches. We just had to throw some back.
Coach Murphy said, you know, you guys played an intelligent game offensively, especially you made, you know, your presence known in the paint. Was that something you looked at from the first meeting and made it a point to try to do today?
I knew we all weren't really aggressive in that first game. I think we only scored 37 points in the entire game. So you score that low points, you know you're not being aggressive. So it was our point to play inside out and be more aggressive in this game as well.
Shane, knowing that attacking Eastern Zone without Riley in there is a much easier proposition than when he is in there, were you physically trying to take it to him to get him in foul trouble? Was that part of your mental game plan?
That was something we had talked about. Every time he got a foul, coaches would remind any of the bigs that are out there how many fouls the center had or the power forwards had. So it's on the coaches really to let us know how many fouls they have. I mean, we keep track as well, but it's easy when they let us know.
How huge was it to have a double-double after having a subpar effort in the first game against Eastern?
It's always nice to have a double-double. You know, it's something I strive for individually. But I mean, I just had a big game when my team beat me.
David, great game. Talk a little bit about the senior leaderships, you and Shane. I mean, this is your guys' team, you can tell. Are you guys where you want to be right now? And what's the outlook going forward? I mean, it's a big game for you guys.
I would have to say yes and no. It feels good sitting in first place overall. That's a crazy outcome. It feels good to be first place, but we don't want to just settle for first place. We still have a long way to go before we become great. You know, me and Shane's job to get us to that point. Shane came out great, and you know, he's sick as a dog, and you know, without him, this game probably wouldn't have been possible. He gave great effort, and that's what a leader does. You know, when you're sick, you come out there and you still give your all, and Shane did that tonight.
You know, with all the people being in foul trouble, didn't get tons of production off the bench. Do you feel personally you had to take over the game at sometimes?
No. Then I feel like I'm doing too much if I try to take over a game. I let the game come to me, and I just go out there and play. I have 100% faith in my team. Even tonight, tonight in AJ Avery, that's a prime example. He comes off the bench, knocked down a couple of big shots for us, and it's just something I don't really need to, just hey, give me the ball, let me take over, because I got a great teammates that can score just as well as I can. So I just sit back, and when my shots come, I take them, and then let everybody else take their shots also.
Did you have a little extra chip on your shoulder this game against Eastern, considering the last game against Eastern when you played, it was cut a little short for you?
No, not really. I mean, it was just something that, it was a freak accident. I mean, they made a bigger deal out of it than it should have been, but, it's a game of basketball. Emotions get high, and, you do something that you really didn't mean to do, and, you come back out and play them again. We are looking forward to this game. It's not a revenge game or anything like that. It's just another MAC game for us, and we're happy to get this one.
They scored almost half their points off of your turnovers last game. They had 14 off of 16 turnovers tonight. You guys feel like you took care of the ball better tonight?
Yeah, we did a lot better than the first time we played against them. That was the emphasis of take care of the ball. They sit back in that zone, and one bad pass, could lead to a turnover to a touchdown. They're great. They're great. They're really long, great athleticism, and a pass that you think is there might be picked off by them. So we just have to take care of the ball, make sure our passes are on point, and when they were, we did some great things.
AJ, can you just talk about your play off the bench? 55 fouls in this game, and obviously it was going to come down to some bench play on both sides.
Right.
Just talk about your efforts today.
Well, Coach Hawk always talk about stepping up and just playing hard, and that's what I did today. When I stepped up, did my role, and had fun by doing it.
You had the one play in the second half there where you attacked the rim hard, going for a dunk.
Right.
Was that something that you knew that you wanted to approach it that way in terms of drawing a foul, or?
Yeah, I did, but I know I just gotta go up there and go up strong because lately I've been not playing as hard against the rim, so I'm just trying to go up there and attack the rim every time now.
What was this game like to play in? I mean, pretty chippy, both sides. 3 technicals in the first half.
It was fun. We just out there having fun. That's basically what it was. It's a great crowd atmosphere. We just out there having fun every time.
You went to the line, 44 times, something like that. I think you went 4 for 4, something like that. How important is that going forward? I mean, getting to the line is huge, and you guys attack the rim. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh, well, we all got to shoot free throws every day after practice, and that's what I keep so calm at the line. So just being confident at the line and just keeping our cool every time.